Tune in and be blessed.
An absent heart. These people come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. Devotion engages the heart in prayer. It is not an easy task for the lips to try to pray while the heart is absent from it. The very essence of prayer is the spirit of devotion. Without devotion, prayer is empty, a vain round of words. Sad to say, much of this kind of prayer prevails in the church today. This is a busy age, bustling and active, and this bustling spirit has invaded the Church of God. Its religious performances are many. True worship finds congeniality in the heart and spirit of devotion. Lord, I want to engage all of me when I come to you in prayer. Please give me a heart and spirit of devotion so that I can truly worship you. Fred Hodges, KKVV, Las Vegas.
KKVV, Las Vegas.
From Leading the Way, Dr. Michael Youssef.
The heart and the soul of Christianity is not a religious system, is not ethical standards, it is not even a set of doctrine, but the heart and soul of Christianity is Jesus Christ. And the uniqueness of Jesus Christ sets him apart from all the other religions. What he said about God is not the same as what the others have said. What he claimed about himself was never claimed by anybody in the founders of the other religions. What he demanded of his followers was never demanded by any of the other founders of other religions. Jesus is unique. He has no peer. He has no equal. He has no rival. He has no predecessor, and he has no successor.
Learn more about impacting your world for Christ when you listen to Dr. Michael Youssef each day on Leading the Way.
Tune in to Save the Lost at All Costs, heard every Sunday at 3:02 p.m. on KKVV. Are you between a rock and a hard place? Not sure if you're a sinner or a saint? Not sure if you lost your salvation? Not sure about anything? Well, tune in to Save the Lost at All Costs, heard every Sunday at 3:02 p.m. on KKVV. Please join me, Paula Darnell, every Saturday, 7:02 p.m. for We Care Outreach, and know that the Bible says in Matthew 25:31 through 46 that what you do for the least of these, you do for me. Please join me, Paula Darnell, every Saturday, 7:02 p.m. We Care Outreach on KKVV Las Vegas. Welcome to Open Book Radio Club, a membership program of like-minded people. Your words should be heard to increase awareness of what you do. Become a part of a growing community and let Open Book Radio Club highlight you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in every Saturday at 2:02 p.m. to Open Book Radio Club. We love coming to you live at kkvv.com, and then also you can see us streaming live while you're there. There you go. DW is waving right now. We love doing this show. We love interviewing people who have good stories to tell, testimonies, businesses that they just open up and they want to promote themselves, and that's why we're here. That is our sole purpose, is to get your information out there to the public and to the community. Again, I ask you to go to openbookradioclub.com and just kind of look over what's going on there. And then if you're interested, send me something and let me know that you're interested in being on the radio show. That website basically gives you information as to what we do and why we do it. And then there's a part that says contact, and you can contact me, and I will definitely answer you. Last week we had someone who was on the radio, and he was talking about gangs, being in a gang, doing the things that gangs do, and then growing in that gang to the point where he was doing things that was totally illegal and not only bad for society but bad for his health. And so he mentioned that He was shot 17 times, and yet not one of the bullets penetrated any vital organs or any bones that would have destroyed him or paralyzed him. So he is a walking miracle. Because our show is 30 minutes, actually 26 on air, time went by so fast and we wasn't really able to answer some of the questions that we would have loved to have heard from him. And so we are back again this week to talk to Donald Smith. And so Donald Smith is not here now. Remember, he drove down from California, but he is on the line. So we will introduce him in a moment. Before we do, I want to welcome DW to the show.
Hey, glad to be here as always.
Yes, it is so wonderful to have the team working to get that information out, don't you
Yay,
think?
team. Yay, team.
So, team, what do you do usually to tell the listeners how to call us?
All right, I'm going to give you some phone numbers. Get your pen and pencil ready unless you're driving, then you'll need to pull over. Here we go. If you're listening to us on the radio, we're at 702-650-KKVV, 702-650-5588. And if you're watching us stream, we're at 1-800-366-8883, 1-800-366-8883. Call in because we got lots of calls last week. I expect we'll get some more this week, too.
Yes, definitely. And so, as I was saying, Donald was here live on the air with us in the studio, and he was calling in. He's calling in today to talk to us about the show, about what he went through as a gang member. And before he does, I'm going to briefly go over his bio, although I don't have it in front of me. I know that he is a minister and a youth minister.
Oh boy, we got him preaching last week. Just got started and then we had to shut him down because we ran out of time.
Yes,
Oh my.
yes. And so we know that he is a youth minister, and his sole purpose is to make sure that the young men and women who may be thinking about joining a gang, if he could just get that opportunity to talk to them. And so
Yeah.
this interview is really important.
Mm-hmm.
So Donald, we want to welcome you to the show. Hello. Hello, Donald. Okay, it's not going through, so let's see what happened.
So we're working on getting Donald here.
Yeah.
We're working on it. Donald, are you there?
No, he's
Nope.
not right
Okay.
now.
Well, hopefully he didn't get raptured because that would mean we got left
Yeah.
behind.
Well,
We don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we know we had phone problems last week, and so
I think
well,
that's
actually, it wasn't
coming,
last
yeah.
week; it was yesterday. So hopefully everything will work out. Looks like he's calling back in again, and hopefully this will work this time. Donald, can you hear us? Donald?
Hey, Donald.
Okay, he can't hear us.
Well, we got phone problems. But I tell you what, tell Donald can get over here. You talk on your radio show on Thursdays, right?
Mhm.
About kids and gangs and what's your main message when you talk to your radio listeners on Thursday about these gangs?
Okay, basically my subject is to get to the parents, the grandparents, to make sure that they are talking to their children. And so while they're working on the phone, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's called Forgiven, and I wanted the audience to know that they are forgiven. So if you are a grandparent, if you are a parent, you are truly forgiven. And so now it's time to take back our children, to reach out and get them back involved in the family and back involved in the community.
That's right, yeah.
I think what the problem is because everybody is in this environment now where the economy is bad and they're trying to make ends meet. They spend a lot of time talking about their job and about trying to get things done, as far as the household is concerned, and less time spending time with their children.
Yeah.
And so if we start at a young age by pulling them back and not allowing them to be in the wrong group at the wrong time, it'll be easier for us. So we just got a little latch again. Donald, are you there? Hello, Donald.
Well, let's talk some more about kids until Donald comes up here.
Okay.
The
I
kids
had
today.
to I had to do that because when the light is on, I need to make sure that
Yeah.
okay,
So
so
the kids today, I was watching a show the other day, a news show, and they were talking about how most of the kids today, especially African American kids, are unemployed and can't find work. It's like, I think they said like 70-80% of the African American kids coming out of high school can't find work, and they're looking for some kind of belonging, and that's what work does for you. But and that sometimes shoves them into a gang because they can't find a purpose, right? And the gang
yes.
gives them a purpose, right?
Yes, definitely.
Uh-huh.
It gives them an out and it gives them a home. It gives them something that they're not getting at home because they're getting that attention. Okay, you come
Yes.
to my group and it's a group of boys. We're all alike, and we're trying to come with that camaraderie. It gives us that opportunity, and so they lean toward that,
Mm-hmm.
especially if the parents are out of the home working and they go home to an empty house.
Sure.
Now, we
Mm-hmm.
do know that the television and the computers and the games take up some of their time,
Yeah.
but after a while, how many games could you have?
Well, and what are the television and the computer games teaching them? Grand Theft Auto and those others are teaching them to steal and to, that the excitement is out there on the street and not necessarily in making something out of themselves, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what about, like I said last week when we were talking to Donald, we mentioned money-wise. A lot of the gangs, the things that they do are legal. And so they have a way of getting money because they rob, they steal, they do all kinds of things that's not godly, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have access to funds that they wouldn't normally get. Because like you said, they don't have a job and they can't seem to get a job because of the economy.
Yeah.
You're looking at adults who are working in McDonald's and,
Yep.
and different places.
Yep.
And so where's their outlet, and how
Yeah.
do they get funds? And so this gives them an opportunity, and they take it.
Well, how do parents and grandparents, how do they keep a kid from getting in the gang? What is it? How do they reach out to their children to keep them out of the gang?
Well, my plea, go ahead and push that down, and let's see if we can get someone. Hello? Hello? Okay, it's still not coming through.
Don't have Donald quite yet, it looks like.
Yeah. We have line 4 lit up, but nothing is coming through. Okay, so I'm sorry.
No, continue. Answer that question for me, if you would. How do the parents and the grandparents reach out to their children and effectively give them something in the home that they think they might get elsewhere?
One of the suggestions that I had was go back to the dinner table. Start cooking the food, go back to the dinner table. Okay, we're going to try it one more time. Go
Yeah.
ahead and push.
Donald, are you there?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yay!
fantastic. Thank you, Lord. We
Thank
were,
you, Lord.
yes. We were trying to just kind of talk about, your subject while we got you on the line. So I am so happy. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I don't know if you were hearing what we were doing in the process of trying to get you back on the line, but we were talking about the fact that children tend to go to gangs because that is an outlet. We never really got a chance to ask you, other than, you said your father was incarcerated, your uncles, and so you had no manpower, but someone had to have knocked on your door, or did you go out searching, looking for a gang member so he can say, okay, we'll take you in?
I was raised in a gang infested neighborhood. So my peers were gang members. So my peers didn't push me to join the gang, but it's like all of my buddies were in the gang, so it was an easy transition for me to become part of the gang.
Okay, okay.
Now there's a point right there. It was easier for you to become part of the gang than to stay home and be part of your family. Is that what you mean by that?
No, not exactly. But what I'm saying is, to answer her question, how did it happen, things like that. When it's your peers, it's much easier to get involved.
Right.
And that's what happens in most cases. In most cases, they don't go and recruit random youngsters. It's somebody that's already in the neighborhood that they may play sports with, and they just want to recruit them for the game. Now, it's a case-by-case basis. In other cases, you do have a child that the mother's addicted to drugs, the father is an alcoholic or incarcerated, that child is lost with no guidance. And for that child, it's much easier to become a part of the gang because they're looking for someone to put up a barrier around them. They're seeking protection, and that protection should come from the mother and the father.
Wow. How do you shake these kids loose from the gang? When you go out and you talk to a kid on the street that's maybe on the fence in the gang, and how do you shake them loose and get them back into the normal world and out of the gang?
Well, DW, one of the very first things that I'll ask a young lady or a young man is, are you willing to die for your set? And when you pose that question to a child that is, just getting into the game, when you pose that question to them, 90% of the time my answer is no, followed with a whole bunch of tears. And by that question alone, I know how much work I have to put in to get that child away from the gang. If they tell me I'm vested and I'm ready to die for this gang, then I know that I have to put in a lot of footwork to bring that child first out of the gang and then bring that child to Christ.
Well, what kind of footwork do you do? What do you do?
What I'll do is I'll show up to schools. I get clearance from administration. I'll show up to schools and I'll figure out, is this child miss how many classes? Is this child tardy? I'll figure out the attendance. What's the attendance like? So it's getting in there, going to the schools, making sure that because if they're at class and they're in class on time every day, there's no time to hang out with the games. Then after school, I'll make sure that they're getting their homework done, whether it's by phone or if I'm talking to one of their counselors at school, or they turn in their homework. If the parents allow, I'll make home visits to ensure that child is not entangled in gang activity.
So you're showing the kid that you care about them enough to spend time on checking up on them, huh?
Right, DW, and that's the thing is that kids, especially teenagers, they're trying to find themselves. They don't know which way is up, down, left, or right. Some of them. So where I come in is if they're kind of leaning towards the gang life, and I see that, when I see that, I quickly come in and try to pull them out of that lifestyle.
Now, my question is, while you're doing this, you said it's a gang-infested community. What do they think? What do the gang members think about you, going in and
Good
doing
question.
just the opposite of what they're trying to do? Does that affect you? Do they approach you? How is that taken care of?
Well, to be quite honest with you, Brenda, over the years and the things that I used to do while I was a gang member, most of the, if not all of the older gang members respect me. So they already, when they see me coming, they already know that's Reverend Smith. Let him do what he's going to do.
Right, okay.
Here comes Reverend
Quite
Smith.
quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Give him some room.
And that part is beautiful because they're honoring God in that respect by saying that. And then also they're saying, we'll see who has the most power. Is it going to be him or is it going to be us?
Oh, wow.
Because
Right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
because if they're in that environment and have been in that environment for a long time, they know that some children or kids are not going to lean your way. So they
Right.
know, for example, that you're not going to take the whole neighborhood. So they're saying, okay, do what you have to do. And that's beautiful. I have to give them, kudos for that. Even though what they're doing is wrong, at least they are respecting. So, go ahead.
What it is, Brenda, is that the Holy Spirit comes with a boldness.
Yes.
And when they see me, they don't see a man. They see the Spirit that's in me.
Yes.
And when they see that Spirit, they have no choice but to submit because they see the Holy Spirit in me and they know what I'm coming for. And I believe that deep down in their heart, they know that it would be foolish to come against God and what God has set out for these young children.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, they do have to honor that, and they do. And you're right. They don't even see you. They see the Christ in you, and
Right.
and
That's
they're not going to tackle that. I would say. So now, how difficult is it for the schools or the community centers to open up to you and allow you to come in? I mean, are they free? Because that's part of the world too, and sometimes they don't want to hear that. Like they took prayer out of schools. So do they open up the door easily and voluntarily, or sometimes is there a challenge?
You have to earn it.
right, right, right. You kind of said it right, DW. Since when there is opposition. Uh, However, sometimes when I go to a school, I'm welcomed with open arms. Like I said, I have experience in gang intervention. So when I come to the school and I present this to the Board of Administration, and I say, look, this is what I'm here to do. I've been trained in impact programs and stuff like that. So when I come and say, hey, this is what I'm here to do, do you have any troubled youth that I can talk to? And once I get a clearance through them, they let me go ahead and do it. Now, I have had some no's before, and when I get a no, I leave it alone so it doesn't conflict with the law or anything like that.
So respect is all over this, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
the gang members for you, you for them, and you for the schools and schools for you. That has to be there for you to succeed, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big part of my ministry. Matter of fact, I was so happy. There was a young man that I helped out here in L.A., and there was a major Crip gang in L.A. that wanted him. And just the reward of me, he used to catch with his mother's consent, he would catch a train out to where we are. I would take this young man to church, make sure that he finished all his classes. And the last that I heard, he had graduated and was working. And for me, that is such a reward to know where he could have ended up and where he is today.
Yes, yes. So like I said, you are a walking testimony, but I do know that the listeners would say, or if they had the opportunity, would ask you, although your uncles and your father was incarcerated and you was in that environment, when you decided to go that way, did you take a second thought, like maybe this is not what I want to do? Did you think of your mother because you said you had no way of helping her and how that would affect her? Did any of those things cross your mind? That's number one. Number two, we never got to the point to ask you, how old were you when you began to start dealing with the gangs?
Okay, number one, I believe that for the most part, I joined the gang just on my own. It was kind of a selfish move. When I began to, now I always worked also. I worked from a very young age. But when I joined the gang, I began selling drugs, and I would put money on my mother's table, and that was a good feeling to be able to help her, and some of it was dishonest, and then, when I got my paycheck, she would get honest money. And to answer your second question, I actually got jumped on the gang when I was about 13 and a half. It was right before I turned 14 that I got jumped on the gang.
Wow, such a young age.
Now, does the Reverend here, does he have a book?
No, he is working on his book, and that's why we have him
I tell
on
you,
the
you
show.
got to get that finished, brother. I tell you
Oh,
that.
yeah.
The story of a man of God walking into the gangs and getting respect and pulling young people out of those gangs is a story that Hollywood isn't telling.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
coming, DW. It's coming.
Good. I'm glad to
Yes.
hear that.
Yes. So if you had it to do all over again, we know why you're doing it, and we know that it's a testimony. We know that. And so without you living that life, you couldn't be doing what you're doing today. But if you had it to do all over again, if God said, okay, I'm going to give you a second chance, I'm going to take you back to 13 years old, would you have went the same way?
Absolutely not. And I sit here with a big smile on my face when you say that, because absolutely not. If I could push back time, I would have stayed. I would have continued to focus on school. I would have made sure that I made straight A's. I would have gained as much knowledge as I could have as a youngster, because I waited till the 11th grade to try to straighten up in school. I would have focused on that. I would have focused on being a better son to my mother, not putting her through the things that I put her through. You know, she was down at the jails picking me up, trying to protect me by herself when people was putting threats on my life. I would have took a whole different road if I can go back.
Yes. Now, last week, your mother actually called in because I remember you know, she said her name, but then you said, "Hi, Mother." And I know that she is just amazed at the change that you made. And you did it basically for her as well, I would say, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, because she's still here, and that had to be such a heartache for her, knowing that you was out there and there was nothing that you can do, that she could do to pull you back in, because once they have you, it takes a while, and it definitely takes God, I would say,
Yeah.
to get you out of there.
Was she a praying mother? Was she praying for you?
Oh, yeah. You know, my mother, you know, she worked 2 jobs, you know, and I could never thank her enough, sometimes 3. And even though she had a college degree, you know, it was still hard even today it's hard for one income to try to uphold a household.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was hard for her single-handedly trying to raise a male child who was out there in the streets creating havoc. And, you know, there's no way that I can fully show her how thankful I am for what she put up with and how her hand, what she did to bring me back to where I am. Because she gave me a footing and a foundation in the church, and then I came back just like the scripture says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks,
Came back to
Mom.
my foundation. Thanks, Mom.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because there is some mothers out there that are trying to raise children and have no inkling of the Bible, church, or anything else like that. And so that's why I'm on every Thursday at 5:30. Although the 4th of July, I played a rerun because I enjoyed myself. But anyway, Donna, we're down to 1 minute, and we're so sorry that you didn't get linked up as soon as possible. But the most important things that we needed to hear, you had the opportunity to say.
Yeah, you said them.
Yes. So one more time, if they wanted to get a hold of you, because we're getting ready to go off the air.
Okay. You can reach me at donaldsmith510@gmail.com.
Okay. And if they seriously wanted to call you?
You can reach me at area code 818-723-4525.
Thank you so much, Donald, for being on the air.
Thanks for coming back, man.
Yes, we
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
And thank you, audience, for tuning in to Open Book Radio. I'm sorry for the delay, but we still got that message across. So I'll talk to you next week. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday at 2:02 p.m. to Open Book Radio Club, where like-minded people tell their stories. Poets, authors, small businesses, spoken word, and music writers come together as a community. So don't forget, tune in every Saturday at 2:02 p.m. to Open Book Radio Club.
American Family Insurance believes your dreams are what matter most. That's why we offer affordable ways to protect them.
My dream is to own a second car and a house with a 2-car garage to keep it in.
My dream is to start my own business and make my son my first employee.
Whatever your dream, we can help protect it. Learn more at amfam.com or contact your local agent. Your dream is out there. Go get it. We'll protect it.
Hi, this is Brenda Ward from Open Book Radio Club, and I recommend Julia C. Bennett at American Family Insurance. You can reach her at area code 702-395-1179. That's 702-395-1179. Or go to her website at juliacbennett.com. That's JULIA